we're not gonna think about this in terms of muscle. We're gonna think about this in terms of lines of connective tissue, lines of fascia. What I want you to do with your partner is I want you to super gently rest your hand in the posterolateral region of the neck. Now, let me demo on this side. The posterolateral region of the neck. So you're over multiple things. You're over the upper trap, you're over the levator, you're over the iliocostalis as it attaches up onto the mastoid, you're over the scalene, you may even be over the SCM. And you're gonna start to move the head. So when you're assessing cervical fascia, cervical region, it's helpful to hold the crown and hold it with just a couple fingers, just gently. And you're trying to guide the person in a direction, not push the person in a direction. So they're doing the movement, you're guiding the movement. And I want you to see if you can feel underneath your fingertips where the lines of that person's tension are without thinking about what muscle you think it is. So I'm just gonna move her a little bit this way, very slowly. And I highly invite you to close your eyes when you do this. And I'm just gonna tilt the head, and my hand is always gonna be opposite the motion. So if her head's going that way, my hand needs to be on the side of her neck. If her head's going that way, my hand needs to be here. So my hand is always opposite the direction I'm moving the limb, in this case the neck. If I want to feel the front of the neck, I'm gonna move her head back there, and so my hand is gonna be out. Okay, and I can feel the moment I bring her back here, I start to feel a line of tension into this quadrant of the neck. Call it the SCM, could be the platysma. I mean, it could be anything that resides here. It could be the anterior scalene. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, and then I'm going to pull her straight back. Let's feel the front. And I'm feeling in my fingers of my left hand where I feel individual, like right there, individual lines of tension. Bring the person back out and go back in. Don't stay cranked over moving the head around. You will feel absolutely nothing but just tension, which helps you zero. You need to have no tension, and as you move the head, you're trying to feel where do I feel tension develop first. So if you're on tension the whole time, just palpating, you will learn zero. So start on slack, and I keep picking up a line right in here. We go to the back. Notice I have to bring her back out because I went too far, too fast. And that feels pretty good. Okay, so I'm starting to gather with this hand where I feel lines of tension. This is your assessment hand 1. This is called motion palpation. As opposed to static palpation, which you've learned in school, this is called motion palpation. Motion palpation is the primary form of palpation used in myofascial release. Static palpation does not really tell you much about how the tissue behaves when you put it on stretch. It only tells you how the tissue behaves when the person is not moving. So we're going to use motion palpation to pick up lines of tension. The second data is coming from this hand. As I'm moving her head, how much resistance do I feel here to the movement that I'm generating if I were to ignore this one? So where do I feel more resistance, or where does she start getting drag? Right? Drag is if I tilt her this way. See how that shoulder wants to come? Where do I start getting drag? No drag going this way. See that? But if I go straight across, boom, I get drag immediately. Did you guys see that? Right? That's exactly the same thing I felt in this hand, where that line of tension was in the lateral neck, not the posterolateral, over here, for her. I want to assess this side fully, and I want you to palpate the neck, the scap, down here, up in here, just moving the head, and then I want you to switch sides and listen on the other side. This is done very, very, very slowly, yes? And with the intention of getting better at feeling with the hands.